Hey guys, so I've been playing PoE2 for a while now, and I know one of these days soon we'll be getting a real big patch. So my partner and I were thinking, what are things we'd like to see changed or improved? And I'd like to share those with y'all, and y'all can add on to this list in the comments below if you like. So to get started, we'll talk about the campaign, and I don't really think there's anything in the campaign I'd change. The quests to do salvage and reforging benches are pretty meh. The reforging bench especially is a DPS check, which is pretty brutal to put halfway into the campaign when the player has more than likely been building up defenses and has probably only done one ascendancy trial so far. Of course, you can just come back to it later when you're better, but that kind of defeats the purpose of putting it in the campaign at that point. But overall, I think most of the bosses have been decently balanced and the difficulty curve generally feels good. I appreciate that the trials take different approaches to how they work, but I think there's a few things that could be tweaked in order to make them smoother. I understand that this is a shorter trial, so it matters less, but at least being able to reduce the corruption dais time by killing rares would be a good thing. It works well in Trial of the Sekhmet. The Vol Soul Core mission should either spawn monsters or reduce the player's health while the player has it in their possession, but not both. The statue just needs to move a tad faster. Just a wee bit. It makes it so hard for players who have any kind of additional movement speed for it to move so slow. And it'd be nice to have a stash at the end of the trial so you can grab your fates and fight the boss instead of having to go back for it. I guess you could make a portal that would take you to the beginning, but it seems trivial just to add a stash to make that process just a bit smoother. I'm still not totally sold on the honor system. I get that we also have a lot more agency in this type of trial, but it's also longer. While obviously this also relies on the relics to mitigate the effects of getting dinged, the trial then no longer becomes a test of skill, but a test of offenses and DPS, and luck, frankly. While your defenses don't particularly matter, only giving you more honor to spend. While the Trial of Chaos has less player agency, it is then a real test of skill to show how you deal with the challenges you get to choose from. And there's no tooltip about what venerating a Marikath's shrine means, which is something that desperately needs tutorialization. I'm still not totally sure what it actually means, so. Overall, I'd say the changes that were added in 0.1.1c have done a lot to fix how the endgame generally flows, but I think there's a couple things that could be put in to improve. My partner suggested this one, searching for a particular kind of map. Obviously, you can only run what you've made available, but knowing what to path to would be a great improvement. Make citadels run the same way towers do, where you do the main objective, kill the citadel boss and grab the crisis fragment, and then you can leave. The Stone Citadel is especially a clear example of this, with an absurdly huge map that takes forever to clear, for no real reason other than for something to do. By contrast, the Copper Citadel is really straightforward and easy to clear, so if GGG wants to continue to make us clear rares on citadels, at the very least the maps should be made smaller. More connections between maps. There should be no reason for anything that isn't on an island to not be connected to the map next to it. I remember that there was a particular citadel I was trying to path to, and it took 2 characters in 2 different directions at least in order to get to it, because every time I thought I was on the right path, it would suddenly cut off. The Atlas map should show you where there's unspent points. It does this for the regular Atlas points, but not for the Atlas points that go to League mechanics. This obviously goes without saying, but for the sake of clarity, yes, we do need a map tab. A companion one for precursor tablets would also be great, one that would organize the different type of League tablets. And get rid of gold shrines, they're completely useless by the time you get to endgame. So now that I've finally actually done some work in the League mechanics, I've got a few things that I think would really improve how they function. Map bosses. Not too much here, but the Arbiter of Ash's lanes attack is nearly impossible to see. He also takes forever to get through his dialogue on reattempts, which is just annoying. I'd also move either the Arbiter or map boss tree to be under the main tree, because currently it's hard to tell the Arbiter tree is even there. Breaches. I adore Breach. I haven't gotten too much here either, but I think a stash tab for Breach Splinters, Rings, and Catalysts would be great, kind of like the one for Deliriums. Speaking of Deliriums, There needs to be some rework to improve performance. Once the fog clears, the game speeds up, which can kill you if you're in the middle of an enemy swarm. The delirium items should also drop much faster once the fog is finished. Expeditions. The loot you get from expeditions is trash, even the loot you get from logbooks. I get we have currency to spend, but expeditions should also feel rewarding, and they just don't. Bosses should not be arbitrarily placed. I think it'd be great to make one of the currencies function in the same way as Breacher Simulacrum splinters, either the exotic coinage or sun artifacts, as these are the most rare. The other option is to create a new currency, but the economy would likely need a reset in order for that to be a viable option. And finally, rituals. Same as the expeditions, the boss just shouldn't be arbitrary. I don't know what the best solution to this is. It feels like repurposing omens as a type of splinter or fragment wouldn't be the smartest solution. Maybe allowing players to cash out unspent ritual points would be an idea, and require maybe 100,000 or 200,000 points to get to the boss. Something like that. The loot isn't the worst or the best, but I think allowing players some agency over whether they get loot or a boss would be a great idea. I've heard this complaint a lot, and I agree. Some more deterministic trading is sorely needed. There's two places I think that would be at least some step in the right direction to help with this. More Orb of Annulment drops. These are so rare for honestly no reason, as they still remove a random modifier. You don't get to choose that. And an improvement to the charm system. Charms are already a bit of a meme in this game, but the most annoying part is not being able to improve them or recycle superior ones that you find in the wild. Just add them to the salvage bench functionality. Here's some general odds and ends that I have found in my time since 0.1.1c. I still don't really see an effect when the charms are used. The effect needs to be big and bright. I do see it in the top of my buffs since I've turned that option on, but on my character, I don't. Greater essences are still way too rare. And there's still a lot of crashes, and I think mine are specifically due to the Windows 11 issues, or perhaps my NVIDIA drivers. I really should put in that command line that GGG suggested, but I haven't gotten to it yet. But just know, in any case, I have been just getting a ton of random crashes. And yeah, I think that's it. Overall, I have been enjoying the game, but there's definitely room for improvement. But until then, I'll make the best of it. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!